Good afternoon. Oh, excuse me. What a time to have to burp. Last possible second. Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. That's not what I wanted. That's more like it. Thursday, November the 9th, 2023. It's another Technical podcast. Glad you could join us today. As always, got another great show lined up for you today. Actual news this week, unlike last week where we were struggle bussing to get a podcast together, but we made it happen. The magic happened. Now we actually have a couple of reasonably large things to talk about this week. And even, dare I say, at least one thing in here that Mr. Black will give a fuck about. At least one. We might even have two. Hitting all-time highs. Mr. Black. But yes, once again, thank you very much. If you're joining us live, welcome. If it's your first time, go fuck yourself. But welcome. Hope you enjoy your stay. If you listen to us on the RSS feeds, make sure that you rate us. Is that even a thing anymore? Can you even do that anymore these days?
I don't even know.
It's not like you used to be able to. Remember back in the day, you could actually like see ratings of things so that you could determine whether or not people gave a shit. And now it's just like it's getting harder and harder for that to happen. It's difficult out here in the streets. I still love that you can like use the extension for YouTube where you can like re-enable the dislike button, and then you can just see all of the like the corporate ass videos are trying to like cover up the dislikes for. it's like a 90-to-1 ratio of dislikes to likes. Anyway, I digress, as Mr. Black would say. Before we get started, most important question of the week, Mr. Black, how's your week?
Shit week this week. My HVAC system went on my house.
Yes, that happened.
So, that was something.
Unfun.
Yes. So,
other than that,
$20,000 later, and I gotta wait until next week. They're gonna come in and install everything and fucking remove the old one and all that next Thursday. So, I got a little space heater here behind me. And just chilling, man. So it's been a week.
I'm kind of surprised that like all the equipment in your room doesn't heat that room up enough with the door closed to even like necessitate a space heater in that room.
No,
I'm surprised.
I mean, it gets warm, but it still gets cold. I mean, I'm still in the basement, so.
Yeah. This I definitely never, ever need to worry about being cold down here. Pretty much ever. I was just saying, I don't ever need to be worried about being cold down here. This room, close that door. Airtight. Air ain't nothing getting in, nothing getting out. And if I have the computers running, it only takes a little time, and then all of a sudden, room's hotter than Hades. Although in the very dead of winter, it gets a little colder, because then it's like 15 below zero outside. Yeah, you're in the basement. It's gonna get cold, but typically speaking, not so bad. How's StarCraft been this week? I've been in and out, been popping in and out.
All right. Yeah. It's been all right. Yeah, it's a slow process, but getting there.
Have you hit a bit of a wall now? Like, is the wall real? I think we're at the end of a season.
Every 2 days. Every 2 days there's a new wall. So I'm kind of breaking through one right now, so we'll see what happens here tomorrow, and then we'll go from there.
I hear if I heard correctly, I've had you on in the background while I've been trying to get my computer to run, and so if anything happens today, by the way, and I'll get to this in a second, just know that it's my computer. Okay. But yeah, so I heard that. Well, I know at one of your walls, although this has always been a wall. But more specifically right now, more than ever, because of how some of these PvPs play out, the mid-game seems like no man's land for you right now, where you technically know on paper what to do, but once the mid-game comes, it's just a complete scramble. Yeah.
It's tough. The game has changed a lot since the last time I grinded the game. Just these patches and just things that have changed is just completely...
You've got no memory for anything anymore. It's all new territory.
It's all new. Yeah, it's all new. Like it's the same, but it's different. And when you're playing, at high masters, mid masters, you're playing against a bunch of ladder heroes. They've already got some shit figured out. They've already been going, and you just get punished. And I mean, you lose games from just this. I mean, dude, we cast StarCraft, so like like you lose games off just fucking the smallest. You let one adapt in, you're dead. You
Yeah,
let
it doesn't take anything.
Through, you're dead. So yeah, it's just been it's been a week. It's been a week. It's been a couple of weeks of StarCraft, but I would say overall I am enjoying it. Overall, I usually have about a 2-hour period every day if I'm doing a 9-10 hour session where I just rage and bitch for a good 2 hours, and then I usually come out of it. So see what happens.
It's the way she goes. Well, that's good. That's good. Other than the HVAC, that's good. Yeah, my week was mostly fine. It wasn't particularly exciting for the last 3 days because I'm treating myself to a one purchase for a business expense this year. One, because I didn't have money for anything else, so I have one. I figure if I don't have one, I might be in trouble, so I should probably have at least one on paper. So I decided that, I mean, I really don't need anything is the problem. So the one thing I could think of was my graphics card, because mine is now 6 years old, and so she's getting a little long in the tooth. And has been treating me well, but getting a little long in the tooth for content creation purposes. And so, for the games I play, if I was playing, if you're playing like Valorant or shit, like a lot of content creators, you could run that shit on a toaster. You don't need fucking dick all. But otherwise, games are getting fucking top heavy these days. It's wild. I'm scared for GTA 6. I don't know what the fuck we're going to talk about that too. But yeah, it's definitely getting a little wild out here. So I was like, all right, well, that'll be the thing. I researched a bunch, and graphic card prices in this country have always been bad. But right now, probably the worst they've ever been. I can't think of a time where it's ever been worse. They're bad in the States, which means they're like orders of magnitude worse here because of the, dollar difference and tariffs and everything else that, change the price before it hits Canadian stores. And so it's really fucking bad. So I looked into it. I ended up with one of AMD's cards. They're 7900 XTX. And I went through the usual process, cleaned the drivers out of the old one, obviously, especially since I'm changing brands from NVIDIA to AMD. It's different than just plugging like a new NVIDIA card in. And just hit a bunch of fucking bullshit is the short story. Bullshit. AMD bullshit. Which when you buy AMD, you're saving hundreds if not thousands of dollars, but you have to know what you're doing to get it to work.
You take this call, by the way.
Yeah,
just keep going.
Yeah, go ahead. You need to know what you're doing for everything, to actually work smoothly. Once in a blue moon, somebody will build like an AMD system and it works flawlessly right out of the gate. But it's so fucking finicky. Since Jeff's taking this call, I'll be a little bit more verbose about it. So, like, you could be something like, oh, the RAM wasn't on the qualified list for the motherboard, which for like Intel systems, like nobody's ever had to think about that fucking ever. With AMD, if it's not there, you're just asking for shit. Or if it's not in a very specific fucking PCIe slot for the graphics card, then it can be a fucking problem. Or if it's not, their drivers are always a bit dodgy, especially on newer cards. And sometimes, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just on a game-to-game basis. And processors fucking power draw. And sometimes, like, the card wants to idle at like 100 fucking watts, even though they're not, it's not doing anything. So anyway, it was an experience. I did everything that I knew, and even some things I didn't know until I researched it to get it to work fluidly. It's not that it wasn't working from the sense that the computer wasn't turning on or there was blue screens or shit like that. It was just there was a lot of stutter, and the frame timing on in games where it shouldn't have any issues was terrible. Like the frame timing was spiking up to like 1500 to 2000 milliseconds, which is 1.5 to 2 seconds, which means the game was just freezing for 1.5 to 2 seconds at a time, and at no specific interval or anything like that. Just was happening, and so I fought that for a long time, and eventually got to the point. The positive side is that my computer has never had this little latency ever. I have eliminated every ounce of fucking latency this computer fucking has, so that's a positive. But on the other side, it took me 3 full days of mind-numbing, brain melting bullshit to get to where it is, and now it seems that I've got it figured out. It seems that most of the gremlins that are left are like a game to game basis, and the way that I said this, I was mentioning this before in my Discord when people were asking me how it was going when I finally figured it out. For those who've been around or messed with graphics cards, with computers and stuff in the past, you've been doing this for long enough, you might remember that back in like 2015, 2016, 2017, NVIDIA had a really big problem with VSync in games. And if you didn't disable VSync in the game and then force it through NVIDIA's control panel, you'd get horrible stutter and a bunch of other bullshit that came with it. And this is very similar to that, as it turns out, because once I forced the VSync through AMD's control panel and turned it off in game, pretty much the problems went away in the games I was having issues. So if you have an AMD card out there right now and you're hitting some oddities, that might be your solution. So yeah, anyway, quite an experience. I like the card. It's running cool now for the most part, despite how much wattage it pulls out of the fucking wall. And if you're somebody like me, and Jeff is still gone, so I'm just burning time here. I know 3 people are excited to hear this kind of shit. If you're like me and you don't like having to use DLSS or frame generative stuff in order to hit smooth frame rates in games, because you hate the ghosting or you hate the soft kind of effect that it ends up having in many games, even with the more advanced versions that we have right now. You just want raw rasterization, which is a really fancy way of saying what we did for like decades before, which was just raw processing. You're playing in 4K. You're not playing at 4K downscaled to 1440 and then upscaled with some sort of AI algorithm off a secondary chip on a graphics card to bring it back up to 4K at better frame rates. You're just raw raster. And this card is really fucking good at that. NVIDIA is plowing people with that 4080, which is the theoretically comparison point. And that's $300 more, still $200 to $300 more than the 7900 XTX, but it has 16 gigs of VRAM for a 4K card, which doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever, but here we are. So, yeah, I can recommend it for the most part. So far, I'll let you guys know if anything blows up as time marches on, but otherwise very good. I will say this, AMD's software, so if you have an NVIDIA card, you'll be very aware of the control panel. AMD's version of that, so they offload some of it to just let Windows display, deal with a lot of stuff that NVIDIA's control panel would do, or had the ability to if you wanted to. But it has a lot more stuff baked into it than NVIDIA's does on average, and you get a lot of really nice metrics and stuff like that as well that can go a long way. And in the instance of this card, I've volted it, so it's running cooler. And in this, just I know Jeff is still gone, so you're getting all your tech stuff up front. And in an interesting note, overclocking these days on graphics cards, at least with AMD, I'm not sure if this is the same with NVIDIA. I haven't had a 40 series cards in my hand yet. Undervolting is essentially how you overclock, which sounds counterintuitive, but essentially what it is that you're undervolting it, which means the graphics card will attempt to hit higher clock speeds before it will bring it back down because of heat. And so that's how you do it. You don't overclock it necessarily in the more traditional sense, although some people still attempt to do so. So anyway, very interesting process. Great card. Way cheaper than going the 4080, especially here in Canada. And just to wrap this topic up before I'll move on and just talk about something else until Jeff gets back. In the States, things are bad for pricing. Like the 7900 is 7900 XTX is I think $799 or $899 in the States. It's $1,300 here. And that's kind of rough by itself, but it's still reasonable when you consider the dollar difference and whatnot. The 4080, which is the comparison point by and large, the 4080 in the States I think is $1,000. I think. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's $1,000. And it might be $1,100. Maybe. It could be in that neck of the woods. Anyway, in Canada it's $1,800. And if you're lucky, you could get like a shitty version of it for $1,600 or something like that. So comparing the two, you're $300 to $600 difference between a 7900 XTX and a 4080, and you get 8 gigs less VRAM. So unless you're somebody that desperately wants some form of ray tracing, which I don't care about because I'd rather play raw 4K than have to rely on DLSS to push ray tracing. Unless you're in that neck of the woods, it doesn't really matter. And then if you go up to the 4090, which is what a lot of people in the States are doing, because the price difference between a 4080 and a 4090 in the States is not so egregious for the amount of performance that you get, that most people are just saying, fuck it, I'll just go the whole way. If I'm going to go to a 4080, you might as well just go to a 4090, which is insane, but here we are. That card in the States, I think, is, $1,700? Or $1,700 or $1,800? I think? Let me just double check that real quick. I don't want to fuck this up that bad. I want to say that's what it is. I think it's $300 or $400 more than a 4080 maybe. 4090 USD. Let me see. Can I find one that's on Amazon? Okay, I'm way off. Well, maybe not way off. Anyway, it's about $2,000 to $2,100 in the States. So, in Canada, it's like $3,200. So, with the 7900 XTX, from a rasterization perspective, which is just straight rendering of a scene, I'm getting anywhere from 80 to more or less matched performance to a 4090, 80% to 100% of a 4090, and equal or greater performance to a 4080 with more VRAM compared to the 4090, literally almost 1/3 the price. So you could see why I went with the 7900 XTX despite all the kind of like the extracurricular activity I had to get to have it work. And for many people, not to get it twisted, for many people, as widespread as some of these issues are, for many people, they do just plug it in and it works, and it's fine. It's just that the instances of that versus an Intel / NVIDIA setup seems to be more frequent on average. And I guess, in the grand scheme of things, when you consider the size of AMD and their division versus NVIDIA, I guess you have to expect it a bit. But yeah, anyway, there you have it. I'll let you guys know how it goes over time if anything crazy comes up. But it's definitely been good so far. And I like some aspects of it for sure more than even my experience with NVIDIA. But either way, if you can avoid upgrading right now, do it. Just avoid it. It's down bad out there. While Mr. Black is still gone, I will try and find something in this list that he wouldn't give a shit about that I can talk about. Let me see here. Let's go with this one. So, in gaming news. Well, I never thought I'd see the day, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even think Jeff knows who this is. He might, actually. He's been around so long, he might. But Ben Yahtzee Croshaw, the voice behind Zero Punctuation and an entire generation of early millennial game review content creation, has officially left Escapist magazine this week after 16 years as a part of a protest along with several other employees. They've also left at the same time in protest of, apparently, Escapist magazine firing their editor-in-chief. That I never thought I'd see the day. And honestly, sometimes, it's been so long, sometimes I forget that Escapist magazine wasn't just Zero Punctuation. I don't think I knew anyone that went to this place, this publication, for anything other than Yahtzee's shit. I had no idea, but apparently that's the thing. And apparently they were willing to bet on, or press the bet button on being able to survive Yahtzee going off somewhere else while they try to spin out into some other thing, clearly. So they're losing their editor-in-chief, their #1 games content creator, of 16 years, who's probably been there longer than any other employee, and 7 other employees apparently at the same time. So that's going to be a hurting situation over there, and we'll have to wait and see if Escapist Magazine survives very much longer after this. I was just saying, Mr. Black, I stretched the tech part out to cover some space, and then I just jumped into a one of the things in this list I didn't think you'd know very much about, but I'll just ask you anyway, because he's been around for so fucking long.
Don't know him. I've already read it. Don't know
Oh, you don't know him? You don't
who he is.
remember Yahtzee?
No.
So you probably have at least seen 1 or 2 over the years. It's been 16 years. He's the guy that had like the little, like, if you Google it and you see the characters, you'll probably have known or watched his videos where he's British, he talks really fast and goes through like all of his game reviews in like 5 minutes. And he's been around it's been 16 years. I have to imagine you've at least seen one video in 16 years, because he's been so kind of ubiquitous for so long now. I mean, 16 years is like Newgrounds era, essentially. Either way, he's left along with with several others after they fired the editor-in-chief in protest. And like I was saying, even me, who knows this guy in his content, I didn't even realize that Escapist Magazine was even doing anything else other than zero punctuation. So, like, I don't know what their big game plan is. They fired their editor-in-chief, and now they've lost their 16-year most famous content creator that's been around for longer than probably anyone else at the company, and 7 other employees also leaving in protest all at the same time. That place is fucked. I don't know what their game plan is, but it's a bad one. But we'll have to wait and see. And then, of course, just as the last piece for this, as you might expect for somebody that has as much renown as Yahtzee does, he said while he can't bring Zero Punctuation, the name, with him, he's clearly going to continue doing this somewhere else. He just doesn't know what form that's going to be in yet, and we'll be able to see it. I suspect the format will be basically identical, just won't be called Zero Punctuation. If you want to be an asshole in a very British way, he could just call it Some Punctuation, just to fuck with him. And honestly, I'd be there for it.
So what, they own his name?
No, his name isn't Zero Punctuation. That was the name of the series.
Oh.
His handle is Yahtzee. So Ben Croshaw is his name, Yahtzee is his handle, and he has been solely the Zero Punctuation guy for 16 years. And so he can't bring that with him, but he can obviously, Yahtzee will be his name still, but he will have a different thing on the other side of this. And this is just kind of like an extension of what we've seen in games media everywhere for about the last 2 or 3 years now. Even before pandemic times, a lot of newspapers and bigger publications have been thinning out their gaming side more and more, which we've talked about before being a bit weird because games as a media are bigger than every other form of media combined. So it's like a weird time to be firing entire groups of people that back that and bring, for example, Gene Park, who's Washington Post's only guy left. They fired everyone else. They only kept Gene. So this one motherfucker is running the entire Washington Post video game section now. And the poor bastard's fought cancer twice in the last like fucking 3 years. And he's the only dude left there. But he said he doesn't quite understand it either. And it weirds him out because he said most of the articles, for example, that he publishes, some of them, or the majority of them, get more numbers instead of like actual traffic than any other article written for the paper. So he doesn't understand why the fuck they are so hell-bent on firing everyone in games media, but they are. So we'll wait and see what happens here, but Mr. Yahtzee will be back, and I'm sure it will probably include a Patreon
you
like
wanna
ours.
Know why, you want to know why people are firing people in games media? Is because it's virtually a useless segment. I'm going to be that guy. And
useless in what perspective? If you're trying to generate traffic to your newspaper or your publication for the website, right? Everything is based on click rate and attracting eyeballs through articles, right? So regardless of if you're writing about video games or if you're writing about the usurping of Aunt Jemima's maple syrup and turning it into some old weird fucking label that nobody gives a fuck about, anything that generates clicks is all most people are giving a fuck about at the top now anyway. So if your games media is generating more click-through rate than any other segment on the website, it might stand to reason that you need or want to keep those people on. Maybe not 90 of them, but maybe a few.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, do they make money? Right? And that's what you got to ask yourself is like, are these people really worth what they're getting paid? And I'm sure they're probably not even getting paid that much.
Yeah. If they're not, then who is making money? If they're not, if the one's making the most click through, so nobody. So every media in general in shambles right now.
I mean, gaming media. I mean, dude, there ain't that much money in that shit, bro.
Well, you know what's interesting? There's not that much in like traditional media doing it. I could see having like, let's say 3 people like at a Washington Post, so Gene and 2 other people. They used to have way too many people. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Washington Post needs 30 fucking people to cover games media. They just don't need that shit. You know, it's kind of like, you know, with Bloomberg, they've got Jason Schreier, and he's like 90% of the fucking content that comes out of there. You don't need that many people. Obviously, he's not the only guy there, but they don't have a team of fucking 90 people doing games media. But they should probably continue to have some, obviously, clearly.
I'm sure they have some, Adam.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have some. But it sounds like this guy said, hey, if you're going to fire all these people...
Oh, it was just one person. It was editor-in-chief. There must have been some really crazy shit gone down behind the scenes. Yeah, and he and 7 other people left all at the same time. He'll be fine. He's going to open a Patreon, and he'll make 40 grand a month, and he'll make more money than he ever did working at Escapist.
100%. 100%.
Which is what I was going to say, is what games media is right now is individual content creators that have their own brand.
That's what I'm getting at. There ain't no money to be made off the backs of these individuals. Or very little. I mean, if you are like a Washington Post or New York Times or some sort of big publication, then obviously you're going to pay your main writer a lot of money. Like, they're going to make 6 figures to do what they do and do well. But to have I have a large team of people just pumping out a bunch of fucking typed up news or the odd piece of content that's put on your website, I can't imagine the ROI is heavy, if at all. I wouldn't even be surprised if some of these people are doing work outside of the gaming publication and probably helping them with other stuff just to fucking, you know, to get use out of these people. Because where else, like, there ain't that much traffic. There's traffic, but there ain't that much traffic for people to want to get their gaming news on some fucking website. You know what I mean? There might be like 1 or 2 top dogs. That's the show. Everybody else is just kind of there.
Oh, it is very much kind of right now, like with games media from a written perspective. Like, but this is the same with any written content of any kind. It's like an SEO war, right? And a way, like one way in which the SEO war is often fought is in parking pages ahead of time. So, like, IGN is the king of all of this media shit. Like, as far as games media and even a lot of movie stuff, IGN is just the biggest worldwide conglomerate. You'll see IGN already have generated, like, Grand Theft Auto 7, the video game, as a web page. And then they SEO fucking micromanage that page over time so that they park that bitch at the top of Google forever. Because it's like a first come, first serve and weaponized on Google fucking rankings. And so everyone's just fighting for that. And if you're not an IGN or a Washington Post or whatever, it is so fucking hard. Can you do it with certain topics? Absolutely. There are people that make money just generating useless websites that, like, AI generative fill blog posts for, like, what's the best fly swatter? And then they make like 300 grand a year. Nobody really understands why, but they do. They manage to make it happen. Like, you can do it, but it's so hard if you're in a space like games or movies or anything like that. Crazy difficult. And then again, like in this case, it's, while there are some people that get paid very well to do it, they're few and far between. Some of them will make $75,000 to $125,000 in these roles. But if they're that big and they have a name for themselves and they have a brand outside of it, they can do it themselves.
They can make way more. Because
you can take on sponsorship deals and all this other stuff where a lot of the money comes into play, and It's very difficult to match that for a company. But I would say then that perhaps what the problem is that the ways in which these publications are trying to monetize this content is clearly archaic, and they need to be able to move in different directions and be able to abuse the same channels that an individual content creator abuses in order to gain bigger traction, more numbers, more eyeballs, more money. And they're just not. IGN is obviously doing it because IGN is largely a video platform as much as they are written content. You don't see the Washington Post pumping out a whole bunch of fucking video content to try and keep up with all the other shit that's going on. They just want to stay in their lane. So, they don't.
And a lot of people don't even read, man. That's the thing, is people just want to consume. They don't have to put in the effort. They just want to watch a video from their favorite personalities talking about the things that they're interested in. That's
Bullet points do numbers, though. So that's a thing that's in SEO. Bullet points do numbers. People will show up to read if it's structured in a really specific way. They'll show up in droves to fucking consume that shit. But for people our age, the majority, and younger, obviously, short form video content right now and video content in general is the way to go. I go on a gaming website
or even a movie website, and it's a written long ass fucking novel of a read.
Oh, you're checking out
that shit so fucking fast, bro. It's not even funny. That's it.
Yeah.
I'll read the headline. I'll scroll through. Maybe there's a quote. I'll see that, and then I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
So,
no, I'm very similar
over there.
Godspeed. Microsoft is partnering with In-World AI to develop tools to help developers create AI-powered content in games, including stories, quests, and of course, characters. So, not that that's a surprising headline. I mean, everyone's going to be working towards this in some way, shape, or form. And I think many people, even if they don't like it, understand that this is kind of this is the direction in which shit is going anyway. To what degree it's used and how is the bigger question marks. The things I think that, at least for me, from an AI perspective, I don't necessarily feel like I want to be playing games where AI has assisted in writing a story. That just seems bad. Just hire somebody that knows how to fucking write a story, for God's sake. What the fuck are we doing an AI story for? But if you're going to tell me that you got tools to create NPCs that can interact with the character in a more real-time situation where they can react to almost anything said to them. Like there are, there's somebody that has modded, for example, AI into NPCs in games where you have your microphone on your computer and you're just talking to the AI, the NPC in front of you, and then they're using text-to-speech on the back end or speech-to-text on the back end. Then the AI parses it, writes out text, and then spits out audio in AI voice back out of the NPC, so you're having conversations with NPCs. Stuff like that, I think, would, in the grand scheme of things, for stuff like open world games could be useful. But I'm particularly intrigued with what developers will actually use AI for, similar to, I'm sure, what you're interested in and how far they'll take AI in movies and how much will be used to try to find efficiencies. And speaking of which, we're going to get to it, but they finally fucking signed the deal here this week, which a lot of that had to do with artificial intelligence. So what we'll have to wait to see is what kind of tools this is producing. But I don't know, how do you feel? I mean, you don't play a lot of games, but in terms of movies or just content in general, how do you feel about not AI doing it by itself, but people utilizing AI for certain things? Are there lines for you where you start to think, I don't think that would be as good as if you just had a person do it? Or do you not just give a fuck as long as the end product is good, you don't care how it happens? Do you have a stance on any of that? Not just for games, but movies, TV, because it's going to be everywhere. It doesn't matter where. Music, movies, it doesn't matter. It's everywhere. So do you have a take on that? Have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, my gut reaction is I hate it all. I'm not a fan of
top to
AI.
bottom,
top to bottom, don't like it. There's just something about it that makes me uneasy.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about doomsday AI taking over and we're all it's a Terminator and Skynet and fucking whatever. It's not that at all. It is the thing that scares me the most and it's not just the video games or movies, it's just as a whole, is corporate America. If it saves the money, they're going to abuse the fuck out of this. I mean, they just are. They just are. And it's going to be less jobs for real people. And I think at least until AI gets to a point where they can understand human emotion, it's going to feel, it's just going to feel like, it's going to feel hollow. You know, it's kind of like going out on a date with that dime piece and you're like, oh man, this is amazing. You sit down and you can't get anything out of the person. It's just
no small talk.
Just yeah, you're just constantly trying to create conversations when it's just a individual or AI that is just not real. It has the beats, but there's no substance. And I feel like we're gonna get what I personally think is gonna happen, whether it is in music, movies, television, video games, all of it, is we're gonna venture down this road, and they're gonna push it until the people push back, and we're gonna get a whole bunch of garbage. It's going to be like the Marvel shit, right? Where it all starts to look the same, sound the same. They've got like, you know, this undertone of bullshit that they want to peddle out to you. And at the end of the day, they just lost the magic. And you'll have the odd thing that's like, oh, okay, see where you're going with this. I like this. But then you're quickly reminded that this is just AI bullshit. And ultimately, it's going to make the end product worse. That's my gut feeling. Who knows? Maybe for the first time in human history, we can use an advancement in technology appropriately, tastefully, to add to the product to make it better. But I think they'll suck every dollar out of it, giving us a shittier version of whatever it is, because it's cheaper, it's faster, and you know, it's less headache, but the end goal, the end user is going to have all the headache in the world, and everything is just going to feel soulless. That's where I think we're going. I think we're about 10 years out from that level of soullessness, but I think, you know, over this next 5 years, we're going to start to see some pretty high experiments. People are going to put out an album, and then you're going to find out, like a month later, it was all AI.
Oh, yeah. Well,
it was all
like,
AI.
There was like the Drake and Yeezy shit that they've already done,
exactly.
And it basically sounded identical.
You know, this what's going to happen, right? And, you know, it is what it is. We'll see.
Is Ye the first rapper to do an entire AI project, send it out like of his own, and then mention like 6 months later that it was?
I don't think so. I think he's just too full of himself.
That's
like
fair.
He's not going to allow AI to
that's true.
Maybe make better music than he does, or not make as good music as he does, and then make his image look worse.
So who's the first? Who's the first one? Do you think? Who's going to take the fall?
I don't know. I think it's just. I don't think it's going to be anybody uber famous. Like, but I think there'll be some artists that'll do it, and then they'll get called out on it, and they'll get shamed for it, and then people will be like, we probably shouldn't do this, but they'll still do it. They'll have music, at least the very least, songs are just going to be written by fucking AI. Movie scripts are going to be written by AI, and then a human's going to come in, and they're going to go, okay, well, I'll put my touches on it. You know, I'll change this part, and kind of sign it off as my own. But we'll see. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. I'm really kind of tired of even talking about AI as a whole, because it's all you hear.
This is only the beginning.
I know. Oh, fuck me.
I think for me, so my stance on it is that my biggest concern, even if it was, let's say, like you were mentioning, utilized in such a way that in which like it was, you know, like you were saying, we didn't abuse the fuck out of it, you know, for hitting the bottom line kind of a situation. Even if that's the case, my biggest question is always, what is training the AI model? Where is it getting this information from? Because right now, a lot of the biggest problems that we've seen with AI is that as intelligent as it can, and sometimes or more often not be, the stuff that it's pulling from is just shit that already exists, and then it's not really making transformative, alterations to any of it. It just kind of stitches a bunch of existing shit together, and spits out an image or a video or text, and to the point where you can see, like, when you're doing images and stuff, you can see where, if you knew the source material, you'd be like, well, it's basically just pulled from this fucking thing. It's not creating anything on its own yet, I guess is what I'm getting at. And I don't know when and how it would even get to a point in which it creates on its own and does not need to just pull directly from. And some people would say, well, in the world of art, nothing is new. Everyone has references and whatnot. And that's true, but they're infrequently do they go ahead and, like, take a piece of trace paper and just fucking trace entire pieces of it and then just, like, color the thing for a different shade of green. It's not quite the same thing. And even if that was the case, you would think that we would want to, if AI was supposed to be able to do what humans can't do, then wouldn't you want it to be able to create new shit that didn't rely on just pulling referential shit from everywhere, and just pasting it in some, like, weird mosaic of copyrighted material? So I don't know. I'm with you. I'm not really a fan of it, generally speaking. I just know it's coming, and I will be very interested in how different video game companies, if we were talking about gaming specifically, will utilize it. And our next topic will, interestingly enough, the guys over at Rockstar talked about AI in the sense of how it could be used to improve things like the Grand Theft Auto experience. I think, like you were saying, there will be some pushback from people, and I think that will determine how video game companies, decide to go about this, or how open they're going to be about it, versus hiding it behind closed doors. So moving on to that next piece, Grand Theft Auto 6. So we had heard a rumor that, and this was back in September, that sometime in October, late October, the 23rd, 24th, they were supposed to have an announcement about GTA 6. That was some sort of leak from a relatively well-known source. And they were off base, but not by a hell of a lot, about a month. So it appears that with Jason Schreier, who we were ironically just talking about earlier, announced that there was some good source that we were going to be getting information about, and possibly even a trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6 very soon, like within the month. And sure as shit, a couple days later, if not the next day, Rockstar tweeted out and said, "Hey, not how we wanted this to get out, but yes, that is happening." And of course that tweet immediately got like 500,000 or 600,000 fucking likes or some bullshit. Just about friggin' took over Twitter for 6 or 7 hours as everyone was talking about Grand Theft Auto 6. And of course it's happening in the 25th anniversary window of Rockstar as a company, is next month. And so that was like the idea they're going to release information on and a trailer for in December, Grand Theft Auto 6. My guess is perhaps Game Awards is when we're going to see that trailer. Would make sense, unless they're going to avoid that and just say fuck Jeff Keighley and just release it on their own. But I don't know. Either way, it won't matter. I'm sure Jeff Keighley is currently, if he hasn't already, is wanting to pay half the budget of the entire Game Awards show just to have that trailer show up on the show.
You make a lot of money.
Yes.
For the first time in forever.
Yes. Yeah. So I think we've talked about it a couple times before, but now we know it's coming. Do you have estimations on when you think? Are you thinking 24 or 25?
25.
25? End of year 25? Like a holiday 25?
I think spring.
Okay, spring 25?
I think spring 25.
Okay.
But it gets delayed.
Oh.
And it gets delayed and it goes to Christmas 25.
Okay. All right. And is there anything from like an RP perspective, if you were still going to be doing RP at that point, I don't know, even if recreationally, you might not be your job anymore, but maybe you're interested to do it occasionally. They're getting more involved apparently with the RP stuff in this next game. Rockstar is. They're putting their hands on it instead of letting it be completely community driven. Is there anything that you would, now that they're involved, that you would hope to see that isn't already part of the system? Or are there concerns that you have with them getting involved with RP? Or do you think it's just going to be more or less par for the course, but in a new game, regardless if they're involved or not?
Well, I mean, everybody gets super excited when Rockstar bought out basically like 5M, like all of the stuff that pretty much hosts all of the different online stuff. And it's not just RP, right? Like RP is I'm not going to say it's a small segment, but it's not the majority. The majority is on GTA Online. People just go on.
Yeah.
They fuck around. They just have fun. They do, the RP is if I had to put a percentage number, it's probably less than 20% of the actual servers out there that are large and whatnot. But I mean, I saw this coming. I called it out when everybody was, oh yeah, it's amazing. Rockstar is, big things for role play. And I told people, I said, whoa. Rockstar isn't spending all these millions of dollars to lose money. They're going to monetize this. They're going to control this. And they've already made announcements, in No Pixel, and I've been saying this for years. You have to remove all copyrighted assets. And I mean, the amount of mods, like even some of the mods in some of these servers are stolen. Not No Pixel in particular, because they have like their own dev team and things like that. But I'm talking about just as a whole. But in No Pixel, I mean, you've got real life cars, and then they debadge the cars, and you can't even do that. They're saying no, there ain't no debadging. No, you can't.
Well, they wouldn't, because the car manufacturers would be like, They're
going to be like, we don't. Our cars don't go in this game unless Rockstar is paying a large licensing fee,
especially like Porsche. Porsche's crazy friggin'
and not only that, some of these car brands don't even want to be associated with this shit. They don't want to have a $10 million viral video of somebody in a Lamborghini running over a bunch of pedestrians and shooting and selling cocaine out the back.
No,
they don't. Some car companies don't want to go near that. Right. So,
and that's fair,
and it's fair. I mean, it is what it is. So it's not only that, then you've got music, you've got clothing, customizations of all this stuff. Not only that, a lot of these servers like No Pixel make millions of dollars in charging people what we call tickets for whitelist to get into these servers. You think Rockstar isn't going to want to tap into this money? And not only that, they're going to want to control it. GTA 5 has been a thing for what, a decade? Longer?
Yeah, about a decade.
It's been like 10 years since this game came out.
Was it 2013 or 2010?
It might have been 2010, bro. I don't know. You'll have to look it up. But one way or another, we'll even say it's been 10 years. Say it came out in.
It was 13, so it's been 10. Okay. It's been 10. Yeah.
It's been 10 years this game's come out. It is one of the most selling games of all time. It still sells like crazy today.
Yeah.
Rockstar is going to charge every single person that wants to play online. You are going to pay, I'm not going to call it a battle pass, but you're going to pay a yearly or a monthly subscription to their Rockstar launcher or whatever the hell they got going on. Or when the game comes out, it's going to be they're going to have a regular version, and then they're going to have like a luxury version, whatever the fuck they're going to call it. And within that, you're going to have like the first year of services and blah, blah, blah. They're going to tap into this. So do I think it's good or bad? If anything, I think it's probably a good thing than it is a bad thing. Simply because Rockstar can set a precedent. Everybody has got to abide by the same rules. But with that being said, it gets scarier for the servers because at any point, They can just pull the plug. They can just be like, no, you're done. I don't care how many millions of dollars you're making. Maybe that's even a problem. Oh, you're making too much money. You're gone. Oh, maybe there's a streamer or a content creator on YouTube that has got a rough past or have done something in public, and they're the main squeeze for said server, and they don't want to be associated with this individual. Gone. Maybe there's things that are being done and said the way role play happens, or GTA Online stuff, and it comes to Rockstar and they don't like what's going on. Gone. I mean, they can, that part's scary, because I'd be more nervous if I am a server creator and this is how I make my living and this is what I'm based off of. But as for a content creator or a player, I don't think you have much to worry about. But I think the ones that are making the servers, they're going to have to watch what they're doing big time. It's going to create some waves. Do I have a problem with paying $4.99 or $5.99 a month to play GTA Online? No. And I don't think the vast majority of people that play online are going to. And it actually might deter some of the fucking shitlords that go on to these servers if there's monthly money involved, right? They might say, okay, fuck this, like whatever. But it is Grand Theft Auto 6. We're probably going to have this game for the next decade, and they're going to want to control what is being done out there. So I think overall it's a positive thing, but I think people are grossly underestimating the level of corporate fuckery that Rockstar could do at a dime. And from the moment this game comes out all the way for the next 10 years, I am sure that we are going to talk about on the podcast, Rockstar pulls the plug on this, or they do this, or they change their terms to this, and you can't do that. And people are going to lose their mind, and Rockstar is going to have to try and figure out where they can push it, where they can't push it. But we will see. Also, when it comes to roleplay, even if the game came out next year, there ain't going to be no roleplay servers for a while. There's a lot of modding that has to go on. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be set up. You're looking at least a year after the game comes out before you get anything that has any real substance. Now, that doesn't mean that people can't go on to random servers and act, role play out some whatnot. But if you want a cohesive, ran, community-driven, modded, with admins and all this other stuff kind of overseeing everything, you're at least a year out from there. So, and that's even if this game even comes out next year. I highly doubt this game comes out next year. To go from your first trailer, the first time that somebody's seen the game that you've been working on for a decade, we're going to get the game within 12 months? I don't think so. I don't.
We're going to have to.
We're going to find out. I wouldn't even. Again, it's going to be a trailer, but will they give you a release date? I don't think so.
I think they'll get a release date. Now, whether the release date will be next year, I don't know.
I think you'll get you think they'll give you a date.
I don't know if it will be a day. I think they'll give you either a month,
season,
or a season,
spring or fall,
yes.
or okay.
Yes, yeah. I don't think they're going to give us a date. I think they're going to give us a month or a season, depending on how big of a window they want to give themselves for this. Now, somebody in chat did mention this, and it's true. Historically, Rockstar does, once they've shown off a trailer, they're not like somebody else in this list we're going to talk about here after this topic, where they put something out and then you wait a decade for the game to arrive.
No.
But in this day and age, and with the size and scope of GTA 6, and with what they're trying to do to it, versus their games historically, or the ones that came before it might necessitate some more time, but they also don't want to wait forever to show off the game. I'm sure they're trying to play the hype, and stay in the, now granted, they don't need to. I mean, you saw what happened. Rockstar puts the tweet out and they have 500, 600,000 in like an hour. So they don't have to be, they're not like other companies where it's like, all right, we need to have, a fake fucking a fake leak that leads into an actual release that leads into so that we can keep our shit in this the search engines for 9 months leading up to they don't need that. They just show up and go, hey guys, we have a game, and everyone's like, yeah, fuck yeah, and then they're like, all right, it's gonna come out in like 2 years, and they're like, all right, great, see you then, and then it comes out and it sells 40 million copies. It's kind of where they're at, so they're in a unique position in that regard, but we'll have to wait and see, and we don't have to wait that long, Mr. Black. Next month, we're going to be able to see what the game looks like. I'm excited just to see it. I just want to see it. What has Rockstar been cooking? What are they going to choose to show off in this first one?
We saw some leaks, so we kind of know what it looks like.
Lord knows how fucking old that shit is, and what the end product is really going to look like compared to what we're seeing from that. And
my guess is it is going to feel like a letdown. I feel like there's going to be a lot of hype, and the thought of a new Grand Theft Auto is going to be incredible. And I'm sure the game is going to be fantastic, especially from a campaign standpoint. It is basically a sandbox game. I mean, it's incredible. I will give them that. But I think from a graphical standpoint and the look of it, I'm guessing that it's going to feel like a bit of a letdown. But it won't matter because it's Grand Theft Auto 6 and it's going to be fucking incredible. But I don't think it's going to be like the greatest graphics we've ever seen. Holy shit, this looks I think it's going to look great. I think it's going to be a nice upgrade from from 10 years ago. In a big way, but I'm still going to be curbing my expectations from a graphical standpoint.
It's going to be,
I don't know.
I think the biggest leap will be how much, this is going to sound really generic, but like how much detail the city has, and how far, and the draw distance will be the big differentiating factors. If you look at, let's say, the new Spider-Man game that just came out, and you see them, I'm sure you've seen video of swinging through the city, and you're seeing how much shit you're seeing, because how much they can stream into the game at a time now because of the storage and stuff that these new consoles have and whatnot, and all these efficiencies. Like that, but Grand Theft Auto is what I'm imagining. You're going to be able to fly a plane and shit like that, and so you're going to fly. You imagine flying a biplane and you're seeing shit like Spider-Man, but maybe even better. And I would hazard to guess it might be better. And the city will be bigger, more than likely. That's good. That by itself would be impressive to me. I don't think you're wrong from a graphical perspective. Just seeing it in action, it's probably not going to be. It's not going to be the leap that we got obviously from 3 to 4. You don't get these graphical leaps. I would say the one that comes after 6, so 7, when we're 50 years old, and like ray tracing, all this stuff is real-time path tracing, everything in real time that everyone has access to, and not just 3 people with a 4090 running it at 30 FPS at 1080p. Once we get to that, that's the next massive leap, and that's a long way away. So this one's it'll look good. Oh yeah, but I think I agree. It's not going to be like generational mindfuck in that way.
Who knows? Maybe it will be. Who knows?
It's Rockstar. It's Rockstar.
Exactly.
There's a chance.
Exactly.
There's a chance. There is a chance. It's a bigger than a small chance, I suppose. At the end of the day, it is Rockstar. I'm just
curbing my expectations so that I don't feel let down.
And that's fair.
Because I already know the game's going to be incredible. It's just what is it going to look like?
How incredible?
How incredible?
It's not just is it going to be, it's how incredible. We're on the incredible scale. It's just how far up that incredible scale are we going? And I'm just going to throw this out for Rockstar. I'm still waiting for Rockstar Presents Table Tennis 2. Get on it.
Dude, the internet's going to blow up, though, if they're like, yo, bro, this shit's coming out in 2024.
Imagine if they said this shit's coming out today. That ain't you want to break the internet, bro? That breaks the internet. That's a 25th anniversary announcement.
Oh man, can you imagine the amount of copies these fuckers would sell? Just everybody and their dog would be FOMO-ing the fuck. Everybody would be quit. There'd be everybody calling in sick from work. It'll be like there'll be so many sick calls from work that people are going to be going, what the fuck? Are we going back into a pandemic? Be like, yes. We are. It's Grand Theft Auto 6, and it's out now. There is 0%. And you know this because you would have already seen the shipments. The stores would have already been known about this. The websites, everybody, shit would have been leaked. But I still think it's going to be hype as fuck. After like, motherfuckers, this shit comes out like October 12th, 2024.
Oh yeah, if it's a year away, it's still
less than a year away.
Yeah.
You'd be like, bro, okay, I'm in.
Pre-orders available now. Do you think maybe do they do a pre-order available now?
They might, or there might be a special edition thing that you can get. Like,
and are you sticking to your $119 expectation for the bump up from the standard edition?
Oh yeah, this game is going to be more than $100. No doubt. No doubt. You want to talk about quadruple A? This is the quadruple A game.
Yes.
This is it. And now I saw another thing yesterday that they reportedly spent $1 to $2 billion on this game.
Well, we were right. It's somewhere in that neighborhood.
1 to 2 bill. Billion.
They'll make it back.
You fucking right. They'll make it back.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna make it back, bro. They print in billions, bro. Rockstar's still making that more than that a year off Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, these motherfuckers are guaranteed gonna make that money back. They could have spent $5 billion on this game, and they would see a return on investment over time. Guaranteed. They're gonna this game is gonna make a lot of money. It's gonna have a fucking hell of a price tag. So just strap yourselves in. There'll be some sort of bare bones one. There'll be some sort of bare bones, but it'll be bare bones. But so there'll be options.
I'll piggyback another piece of the news here, and then I'll ask you one follow-up question for Grand Theft Auto. So Super Mario Bros. Wonder officially became the fastest-selling Mario game of all time as of this week, selling 4.3 million copies. Not shipping, meaning they didn't. This is not. It went to stores. This is people physically buying the game. 4.3 million copies in the first 2 weeks. It's the fastest selling Mario of all time. Obviously, it's not done there. That's just the first 2 weeks. But my question is, GTA 6 first 2 weeks. Oh. How many sales? I'm not asking if it's going to be more than this, although it will be.
Okay.
But like, what do you think the first 2 week sales figures for GTA 6 will be in millions of units?
In the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, not shipped to stores, but actual sold units.
Over all platforms. So we're talking...
Yes, which will be PS5...
PC, PS5, Xbox.
Xbox, yes.
In the first 2 weeks, 15 million. 15. 1-5.
I think that was the number. That was the number I was going to sit on. 15 mil in the first 2 weeks.
5. That was 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was my number. Same thing. I think it will be.
It's gonna be more than 10.
I think it will be probably 7 mil on a PC, 5 mil on a PlayStation 5, and the 3 mil to the Xbox.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not gonna get that deep into
Xbox will be the least of all of them.
Oh yeah, for sure. PC will be the most.
Yeah.
Yes. It's gonna be a lot of copies. It's gonna be a lot of copies at a hefty price tag.
We'll wait and see. It was N7 Day this week, Mr. Black. That's, if you don't know, that's November 7th of every year's N7 Day, I should say. And it's Mass Effect Day, N7, in the Mass Effect universe. We got another set of teasers that built into eventually that got pieced together to form a short trailer or teaser trailer revealing what appears to be a new villain, on top of now knowing that Commander Shepard is in fact making a return for this next game, which we've talked about, I feel like, in the past being a good idea because we need to forget that Andromeda ever fucking happened. That game didn't exist. We don't need to talk about it. I'll say this. This is where we're, and this ties in, like I was saying, to Rockstar. Traditionally, when they make an announcement, or they show a trailer, a major trailer or whatever, it's usually not that far off. They're not saying, oh, it's going to be 4 years from now or some shit. It's one. Historically, it's been 1 year. So if this is 2 years, I think that's probably the first time it will ever have happened that way.
I think it'll be 18 months. I think it's going to be just over. I think it's going to be just over a year. So maybe between If they announce this now, I'm thinking
14
it's going
to
to be
18?
14 to 18 months.
Hmm.
That's my guess. I could be wrong. This shit could come out next year.
You know what? I can see scenarios in which, like, today, next year, 18 months, I can see all three of those happening.
Oh, not today, but okay.
Now, that being said, so
I
they
could
put
see,
this...
Sorry.
No,
I
that's
could
okay.
see Grand Theft Auto 5 going
Next
free
spring.
to play.
Oh,
going
that
free
could
to
be.
play.
Oh, like a combo announcement.
Boom. Free to play
okay.
everywhere. If you haven't experienced Grand Theft Auto 5, go out there, do it. It's free. Boom. Then the announcement for Grand Theft Auto 6.
Okay.
That I can see happening.
Okay. Yeah. It wouldn't shock me if there was some sort of combo announcement of some kind. It's the 25th anniversary. There's probably going to be, just one more thing kind of a situation there. That wouldn't be shocking. So I agree with that. With this Mass Effect thing, and granted the trailer looked great. It is CG. It's just whatever the fuck, right? This is like the third time now that they've done this. Like, we've been teasing for years now. And so people are going, when are we going to get a little more than our balls tickled on this bitch? When are we getting some solid information and not just a 7-second teaser trailer? And as it turns out today, we found out that it is currently, I don't know if this is out of the horse's mouth directly, but it is currently estimated that the next Mass Effect game is set to release in 2029. We'll call it 5 years. 5 years from now, and they've
Adam,
already been
we'll be
tickling
in our
our
40s,
balls.
Adam.
Yes.
We'll be in our 40s, Adam.
Yes. 5 years. What? That is some, I have in my notes, that is some Elder Scrolls 6 announcement type shit, where they had that in 2017, and it ain't coming until 2028, 2029? What the shit? No.
Anyway.
Stop it.
Next.
Don't even announce a game if you're a decade away. Like, what are you doing?
Just wait. Fuck off.
I think that tells you where BioWare is right now.
That's
They're in shambles.
Crazy as hell. Why would you even make an announcement for that? Like,
stockholders?
What's the point? All right.
That's the only thing I got. Is they're just they have to keep, like, they have to say that they're doing something and then, like, keep the fucking. That's it. Because it ain't to get people excited. You're like, oh, 2029? What are you doing that to me for? It's crazy. We've jumped around a little bit here, so let me just make sure I didn't miss anything crazy. No, did that. And now here we go. Just earlier today, Mr. Black, about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, Steam announced the OLED Steam Deck, following in the footsteps of the OLED Switch, although that was just kind of, it was bound to happen at some point. No performance increase, but it comes with a slightly larger 7.4-inch OLED HDR display. I think the LCD is 7, so you're getting like a half an inch difference. But just like penises, half an inch goes a long way.
Hey, man, ain't no one complaining about an extra half inch.
No, nobody.
Nobody. Listen, if you took 1 million men and you lined them all up and you asked how many people here would like an extra half inch?
Every hand.
I would imagine.
Every hand goes
there
up.
I'm going to say there'll probably be, out of 1 million people, about 100 weirdos.
Or it'll be like Mandingo would be like, bro, if I get an extra half inch, I'm going to pass out.
I can't. Yeah. That's pretty much everybody else. They're taking that half inch.
Absolutely.
They're taking that half inch, bro.
Every time. And so in this instance, you got a half inch bigger handheld screen? Give it to me. What do you got? So that's an OLED screen with HDR capabilities, by the way, which is an interesting addition as well. So colors will be really great, contrast, all that kind of stuff that OLED has, along with HDR capabilities. Now, there are two models for this, a 512 gig and a 1 terabyte. I would say that this should be 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte. 512 gigs is about a video game and a half right now, unless you're playing exclusively games from 10 plus years ago, or you're playing predominantly little indie games. If you're playing anything else, which I gotta be honest, most of what I'm seeing people play Steam Deck games with, they are relatively beefy fucking games. I don't know why they're choosing to play these fucking games on this console, but they do. They're like, how can I manage to play Starfield on a Steam Deck type shit? So if that's the case, I mean, shit, new Call of Duty is 200 fucking gigs for God's sake. If you get the whole kit and caboodle, like the campaign, the multiplayer, everything else. So I would have liked to have seen, especially since this is a new model, a 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, but they have 512 and 1 terabyte. And they still have the expansion capabilities if you wanted to do that, of course. But comes out November 16th, so this is just within the next week, for $549 USD and $649 respectively. It's a $100 difference for 512 gigs of storage, which is a straight kick directly to the fucking nutsack. That's insane. 512 gigs for $100. I could buy an SSD, or I can buy like a micro fucking card with 3 times that storage for that much money. I don't know what the hell they're thinking, but whatever the fuck. Also, for $100, most people are probably just going to buy the 1 terabyte version. I think that's why they're doing it the way they're doing it. It's like the bullshit, you're this close, you might as well go the rest of the way sales tactic. So either way, 2 models for that. And also alongside of this, the LCD models, I think there's 3 of them in total right now, they are getting a price drop as well. And those will drop to be anywhere from $100 to I think $200 less than these models that are OLED variants. This one also has, along with that bigger display, a bigger battery to extend the playtime. It went from 40 to 50 milliamp hour or whatever the hell it is. So that will be a pretty substantial boost in battery life for anyone that plays it. And so we'll have to see what the new on times are. But nevertheless, I have to ask it as a joke. Mr. No? Fair ball.
Yeah.
Fair ball. Last piece of news, that big PlayStation shift into live service games. We talked about that a couple months back when Jim Ryan came out and said, yeah, we're just going to do a whole bunch of live service shit, and we're going to release like 20 of these bad boys in the next fucking 7 years. So that's not going so hot. Big shocker on that one, but unfortunately it's not going so well. They've revised this strategy and announced now that only 6 titles are aimed to be released by 2025's fiscal year. And I just have my notes here. It looks like some of Jim Ryan's strategy is leaving with Jim Ryan. Clearly, his strategy was not doing what they were hoping for, and now they're making alterations inside after he has stepped down, in quotation marks, from his position at the company. And so I'm going to say everyone liked that. Less live service games, good. So most people are probably going to be happy about that. But nevertheless, there you have it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for video game news, which means it's time for Mr. Black to sell out a little bit for us. Mr. Black, take it away.
Yep. It's going to be patreon.com/legtv. Head on over there. Throw some money at the screen if you want to support the podcast directly. That is how it's done. We have also sent out all of the merch to all of the people that I've been having some people come into my chat and been saying they've been receiving the tubes. So, Oh,
good. They're making it to their destination. That's good. That's good.
They are. I've had a few that have said it, and I'm sure that there's still some long in transition.
Yes.
But one way or another, thank you to those that have been supporting the podcast for I don't even know how long now. I think we're probably going on the 6th year we've been doing this.
Yes, this is year 6 currently. So going into middle of next year would be the 7th year.
All right. Well, I don't know what's crazier, the fact that we're still doing this or the fact that you guys are still supporting it. So, one way or another, keep supporting it. We're going to keep doing it.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you so much. Patreon.com/legtv. You can support for as low as $1 a month. So you can go all the way up to, if you got that oil money, you just go ahead and, sprinkle it in there. Just go ahead, sprinkle it. Also, if you've got enough money for a cup of coffee a month, you sure as shit can afford NordVPN. I'll tell you that, because it's half a cup of coffee a month at Starbucks. It is. Use the promo code OTT. Head on over to NORDVPN.com/OTT. Use that promo code, get a massive discount plus 4 extra months, which brings the average price a month down again. Stay safe, stay anonymous out there, guys. AI is going to take over sooner or later. It is. All right, we're seeing the cracks in the cement, as some Americans say. They say cement.
Where is this going?
They don't say cement. But you can see the cracks in there. And you know what? When there's cracks, it means things can sneak in. They can see beneath the cracks. And you know how you get rid of that? Well, you patch the cracks up via NordVPN. And you stay safe out there. Because when they're peeking through the cracks, well, you want to put something there that isn't actually there. Like your IP address, like your location. You see where I'm going with this? Do you see where I'm going with this?
Sort of, yes. Continue.
Them AIs will go rampant, man. They'll start infecting your PC with malware. Well, NordVPN, well, they got a thing called threat protection on the desktop app that comes with your service. You run that in the background? Malware? Is that all you got? Just a little bit of malware? You're here to slow down my PC? You trying to track my cookies? I'm the cookie monster when I got NordVPN on. Just eating all the bad away. And you can use up to 6 simultaneous devices off one account. 30-day money-back guarantee. Don't like it for whatever reason. Get your money back within 30 days. No questions asked. Just, okay, hey. And you know when they're offering you a 30-day money-back guarantee, they know their product is the product. I use NordVPN. Adam used NordVPN. We've been using this for years. I haven't had a single problem with NordVPN. I have had, in all of the years that we've been promoting, whether it's my personal channel, Lag TV, I have had one person, complain about NordVPN. One. And you know what their complaint was?
What's
you
that?
know what it was?
What was it? I actually don't know.
You don't know what the complaint was?
No.
I don't either. Now that I come to think about it, I think it was a troll. It wasn't real. It was AI.
Oh my god, man, come on.
Just head on over to NordVPN.com/OTT. Guys, use the promo code OTT. And if you go ahead and you get a subscription, take a screenshot, send the email to lifesaglitchtv@gmail.com showing proof that you use the promo code, that you got a subscription, and give us a StarCraft 2 replay of your choice. Will cheese fail, normal game, 2v2, 1v1, I don't care. We'll cast it, guaranteed. And we got more to do. People have been sending them in. We're going to be recording some after this. So if you ever wanted a guaranteed cast, that's how you do it. Plus, you support the sponsor, us, and yourself all at once. Use the promo code OTT, NordVPN. Let's go.
Beautiful. And now it's time for
movies and TV.
It happened, Mr. Black. Finally, it happened after like almost 200 days. It was 180 or something like that, or 160 something. I don't know. It was somewhere in that neck of the woods. It was climbing towards 200 days. They finally reached a conclusion. A deal has been struck. SAG-AFTRA and crew hard fought out on the lines for a long time, and finally the studio said, fucking fine, I just want to buy another yacht, shut the fuck up. And so they signed off on a deal that will still allow them to make tens of millions of dollars every single fucking year, while other people will be able to make tens of dollars every year. So everyone's happy, it seems. And more importantly, the AI stuff was a big part of that. They got what appears to be something that they were happy with, a nice happy medium. I can't wait to see how studios manage to gray area the fuck out of that to avoid actually, kowtowing to anything in that contract relating to AI. They're going to try. It's going to happen. But at least it's done. And most people seem happy with it. Most of the actors that have been on the picking line and stuff, everyone seems to be happy with it. So that's a positive at the very least. And it's a shame it couldn't happen earlier because now we got to wait until fucking whatever March for Dune 2. I was all ready to watch Dune 2 and I got to wait. Bunch of assholes. Executives out here ruining my fucking winter season movie. The one, like I watch 2 movies a year, you fucked it up. Bunch of bastards. But there you go. So that's done. Things get back to normal, and we can all breathe a sigh of relief for another, probably 7-8 years until this comes back up again. And odds are they're going to go on strike because the studios aren't going to want to pay any more money, and the whole cycle continues anew. Upcoming Marvel Blade movie, Mr. Black, was announced to be confirmed to be rated R. Thank God. And shout out to Deadpool for making this possible. Just want to throw that out there. Deadpool being rated R and doing as well as it did, I feel like is the reason why we're continuing to get other R-rated Marvel related movies. And Blade in not rated R? I mean, come on. What would you even be doing?
No.
What would that even look like? Not good, I can tell you that much, whatever it would be. Speaking of not good, Nintendo announced they're developing a live-action Zelda movie. And if that wasn't enough to already turn your stomach, let me tell you who's attached to the project. Wes Ball, known for Maze Runner as the director, and produced by Avi Arad of Venom, Morbius, and Spider-Man 2 fame. Wouldn't say it's the pedigree that I'd want for a live-action Zelda movie, but here we are. I don't know if I want a live-action Zelda movie, period. I don't care who's attached to that shit. You could put Bill fucking Murray, actually that's a lie. Bill Murray played Link in a live-action, I'd watch the fuck out of that. But I would rather this just be animated. I think this would do so much better fucking animated. Why are you doing live-action Zelda? What the fuck are you thinking? Stop, no please. And then you come out with these two? These two guys? I mean, no offense. But Jesus, come on. What are you doing? Morbius? It's Morbin time? Maze Runner? Budget fucking Katniss Everdeen? Bruh. We'll wait to hear more information out of it. Also, we got a trailer for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I don't know if you saw that yet, Mr. Black.
No, I didn't.
But yeah, it looks, got a trailer. Trailer looked fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. It looked really good. Builds off of, I believe, Afterlife. What was the one that came before this, right?
And that was actually a good Ghostbusters movie.
Yes, I heard it was. I haven't seen it yet. No,
it's good.
Yeah.
Like I watched it on the plane going to Spain, and I was like, holy shit, man, I'm kind of pissed I didn't watch this in the movie
theater.
Because I was just because the Ghostbusters before that with all the girls, that movie was ass. That was fucking awful. Awful. This was like real Ghostbusters.
It was good.
Authentic. It was good. It was well acted.
Paul Rudd was a good choice to throw
Paul
in there
Rudd
too.
Is awesome. Yeah. And he's charismatic. And I like that it had serious tones in it, but it still had the playfulness of Ghostbusters. So like,
you got to have that.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't say as cheesy as like Power Rangers, but it wasn't as serious as like I don't know, like some of these horror movies that come out, right? It was like a mix between some kind of dumb, childish type shit, but just enough.
You gotta imagine they're trying to like grab some new blood, right? So they want younger, people. They probably want the parents that watch Ghostbusters that have kids.
Good. Definitely good for us. Like it's definitely, it's got some good callbacks. It's got some. It was like just the right amount of fan service, and then just the right amount of camp and cheese, but then just a good amount of like. It had some heart to it. It was good. So I didn't see this trailer, but I'll definitely go to the theaters.
See that one.
And see this one because the first one was or I guess the last one was pretty good.
Yeah. So Billy Boy's still in there. Murray, he's in the trailer. So Bill's in there to some degree. And I believe, what's his name too? Oh, shit. The black guy that came in at the second Ghostbusters. I can't even remember his character's name right now off the top of my head. You know who I mean, though.
I don't know.
The black Ghostbuster, you know who I mean.
Oh, I know who that is. Yeah.
So anyway, I think I also saw him in the trailer, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, he is. Yeah, he's in it.
Yeah, so I said this in the notes. I said I know it's never gonna happen, but I respect the shit out of it because when he left. But I'd still love to see Rick Moranis just walk across the fucking screen for 5 seconds. I know it's not gonna happen, and like I said, Ernie Hudson, that's his name, and I respect the fucking when Rick Moranis said I'm out, he meant it. That dude left. And other than that, I respect it because he left when Rick Moranis was huge in the 90s. Except for when he was in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, 2, because then he was not huge, he was small. But otherwise, his star power in the 90s was actually substantial out of the 80s and into the 90s, and then he said,
but didn't he,
I'm going to raise my kids.
Yeah, didn't he,
his wife passed away.
His wife passed away, exactly.
Yeah, and he said, I'm just going to leave and go raise my kids.
I'm going to be a dad.
Yeah. Respect, Rick Moranis.
You gotta respect that, bro.
You gotta fucking respect that shit.
He made his millions. His wife passed away, and he said, "Hey, I got
this opportunity. Yeah,
this is it. This is it. There's no more Honey, I Shrunk
Time to play the greatest role of my life.
Boom.
Fatherhood.
That's it.
Went out there and did it. What a god. But part of me, nostalgic, would always want him to just not a huge role, but just 5 seconds. Rick fucking Moranis. There, but it's not going to happen.
Maybe he's in it. We just don't know.
Sigourney, I think, said that she wasn't approached to be in it, so you're not going to see her as a cameo. But either way, I'm happy they eventually got to do it. I'm sad that it took so long that what's his name, Ramus, who plays Egon, he passed away. I'm sad it took so long to get the wheels moving that we didn't get a proper all three of them on screen together. Again, Harold Ramis, thank you. That would have been really cool to get that kind of a thing. Because other than Star Wars, that would have been one of the few, this movie this series is loved by everyone 30 fucking years ago or more. And to have all three of them come on and have, their shtick to hand over, the baton, for this franchise would have been really cool. But unfortunately, it didn't, the chips didn't fall that way. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing this. I still have to see the original, the last one. I'll see that one. And we'll go from there, I guess. But it seems like it at least obviously did well enough to get them to come back for this one. So we'll have to see if it continues further than this. And that's all I've got for movies and TV, unless you've spotted anything in the wild or you've been watching anything in particular.
No, I haven't really watched fuck all. I think the last thing I watched was the new Saw movie.
Oh God, you subjected yourself to that dog water.
It was really good. It was good.
Bro.
It was good. This one was good.
They're just gore porn, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what 100%. That's really what it was. This was definitely the best Saw movie I've seen since, the second one.
Okay.
Because it was actually, a bit of a movie this time. There was, a story and some development, and there were some questions that were answered, and it's, a sequel to, number 2. So it kind of deletes a lot of the garbage, and it kind of yeah. For
did it switch directors a bunch over the years?
Oh yeah, dude. They've had all kinds of different fucking shit, but this was back to. I mean, it's very predictable. If it wasn't predictable, it would have been the best Saw movie ever made.
How do you make a Saw movie not predictable at this point, though? Is that even possible when you've had 9 fucking movies?
No, I don't think it is possible. And I think the part that hurt me was I immediately called it out. There's a certain part in the movie where something happens, and I'm yep, this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen, and lo and behold,
there it was.
that happened and that happened. And, you know, it was still good, but it was like a bit of a letdown. I wish they would have taken me for an M. Night Shyamalan, a ding dong, a twist. But instead it was just like a generic, shitty twist that you just seen coming. And yeah, so that's the only movie that I've seen as of late. So that's it.
I don't think I've seen anything crazy. Em and I were watching, now that I beat Cyberpunk, we were watching the Netflix animated show that they did for it, Edge Runners. And that's been really well done so far. So we'll watch that. I think we got like 2 episodes left. And that's about it. There's not really a hell of a lot on the services worth watching right now that's like a movie or something. Like we watch more honestly, we watch more documentaries than we watch movies these days. There's just not that much going on at the moment. But there you have it, which means it's time to move on to
tech support.
Patreon.com/LagTV, the place to go if you want to support the podcast and the StarCraft content and keep the train moving. $5 or more a month gets you access to a few things. Chiefly, you get to ask us questions each and every week on a post I put up on the Patreon page called Tech Support, where you can ask us questions and we give you questionable answers. Let's see what we got this week. I don't know. Theta, I know Jeff wouldn't have the answer to this. I barely know if I have an answer to this. I don't even know if I do. I've looked this up before. So Theta asks, explain it to me like I'm 5. What is the difference between these are genres in gaming, a rogue light and a rogue like? Which sounds so similar that in conversation, oftentimes you don't even know what the fuck the person is referencing. I really don't fucking know. I mean, like they're, and honestly, they're so similar that I don't know if it fucking matters. The fact that most people, when they hear it, don't immediately know means that they're too similar in the first place, and they don't probably need to exist as separate entities. I mean, if you're just taking it semantically, the rogue light probably means that it's a rogue like, but with slightly less mechanics of a rogue like game, and then a rogue like is the next step up where it's not the original, but it is a similar fucking concept. But it's dumb. They're dumb fucking names for genres. It's fucking dumb as hell. I've never understood it either. I've definitely looked this up in the past before trying to figure out what the hell the difference is. I think the secret is they're not that different. Some people might complain about that answer, but roguelike and roguelite, that's the answer. Volkus asks, have you ever been to HowlCon? I keep meaning to go, but I always miss the deadline for tickets. I have. Have you gone?
No.
So I went, but in fairness, I went because it was part of the gig that I was doing at the time for the local TV show that I was doing the game code for a few years, 2 or 3 years. And so I went there based on doing that shit. I don't think I've never gone on my own to just be a walking around on the show floor kind of thing. It's cool. It's grown over the years. It's gotten a lot more. I think on average, it's gotten better every year. I met when I was there. I got to meet lots of cool people that were involved in movies and TV and whatnot. Anyone from Harry Kim from Star Trek down through to fucking Hodor did friggin' a DJ set at HellCon one year as well. So like you get the chance to meet some people for sure that are very interesting and that's always nice. Billy D. Williams was there from Star Wars, Lando Calrissian, you get all sorts of people coming through there. So like any convention, you get like convention goers, like the celebrities that are at the twilight years that do the circuit. And but it's always kind of fun to meet them. And there's lots of good artists and shit too. So if you're somebody that likes custom artwork related to movies, TV, gaming, things like that, and you prefer doing that, that's a great place to get it. You go there and then like the artist corners that they have are like the whole venue. You can get some really good stuff there as well. So yeah, I'd say it's good. I also met Johnny Young Bosch, who was the Black Power Ranger for a while, and a prolific voice actor in games and anime. I interviewed him there too. So yeah, anyway, it's pretty good. Go if you're interested. If you're a convention person in general, it's the closest thing that we've got to like any real convention here. Let's see. Oh, Danish, one of the guys apparently who got his physical merch finally. You're welcome, Danish. It only took 50 years, but you got there. Said, many thanks to Jeff, Adam, and Kayla for physical merch that I received last week. Hit me up with the sound of being done for good, or done that physical merch for good. Thank fuck!
Never again, bro. Never again.
Not if we're the one shipping it. If we're working with a company that does the then yes, sure. But not any of this shit where we like do the custom posters, the custom pins, and shit.
No.
How much was it? Like a $750 bill?
$731.
Ugh.
That's for these ones.
That's for these ones. That's not including the ones we've already done.
Bruh. No, bro. That was a negative.
We might have lost money on that. Might have been a misstep on that one.
Guaranteed L. That's it. That's an L right there.
Oh shit. Let's see here. Wait, what? This might be one of the most random questions we've ever had, but okay, let's go with it. The Jubinator asks, which StarCraft Brood War unit would you invite to your summer barbecue, and which one would you never invite in a million years?
To my summer barbecue. Okay, the one I'm never inviting one of those scourges. Remember those things?
Oh, the little flying little dudes.
Yeah,
well,
like
they're just gonna blow everything up.
They're gonna blow everything up. You can't bring them in. They touch anything, they explode.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised they don't have in StarCraft 2, but
probably a balance problem
like that. Yeah, probably. And then the one that I am inviting. Oh man, I'm bringing. Oof.
I'm bringing Bob the Zealot.
You're bringing Zealot?
Yeah, I'm bringing Bob.
Yeah, Bob does. He does work hard. He deserves.
He does. He deserves. To be invited to the cookout. I would say. Bob, but then who would I not?
You know, I'm bringing a Goliath.
Okay, Goliath. I miss Goliath so much, bro.
I'm bringing a Goliath, man.
Goliath was such a badass fucking unit.
Yeah, Goliath Online.
Like, fuck Goliath. A Thor, bro. Fuck a Thor. Bring back Goliath.
Or even, yeah. I think the closest thing to a Goliath that we have in StarCraft 2 is the Viking. So when the Viking lands and when it walks, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like a
Thor is really just a big fucking version of it that's slower moving than a Goliath.
Yeah.
Shoots air.
Then again, a Viking can't shoot at air when it's down bottom.
No, I think Thor is basically the closest thing we have.
Or a stalker.
You know who I'm not going to invite? A Dragoon. They'd never get to the fucking table, and they'd fucking flip every other table in the place. They just...
Yeah, they just yeah. We got the Stalker instead, which is far better.
Yes,
I mean Jesus, man.
They're not drunk.
That didn't play Brood War, and you tried maneuvering them units around.
It's a gamble,
dude. It's a straight.
You
gamble.
Literally had no idea where those Dragoons were going to go. It did not matter how specific you were being.
You could have a very clear path, like that. You know, sometimes you're on a map and they got weird
straight run
and shit, and then sometimes the armies will like split and the AI is like, oh, this is the faster path. No, this one, dude, you could have a straight up, you could be on a runway at the airport and you could run them bitches up there and you'll have 3 or 4 of them that'll just decide to go to the grass. What are you doing? There is nothing there. What are you doing? You have them bunched together and they're trying to attack a unit. Oh, bro, they just all they do is sit there in the background, just dancing around. They're doing nothing.
You know what, though? In a weird way, I think that in a weird way that helped the balance of the Dragoon. Because the Dragoon is so fucking strong, it hits like a fucking truck. And so if it pathed perfectly, I think you got a problem. Because now you're just steamrolling fucking absolutely everything with those Dragoons.
They were also really tough to kite. Like to micro.
Well, they had a range attack that went like half the fucking map.
Yeah, and you'd stop, and then it would like kind of like sit there for a second, then it'll shoot off its thing, and you couldn't just like attack, stutter step, attack. It was like.
Well, you had no idea when it was actually going to fire, because sometimes it would take like this, like a few more extra, like, you know, frames to figure it out that it wanted to shoot.
It's fucking weird. It was a weird unit, man.
Yeah, it was a mess. That being said, love the sound effect for the Dragoon, like the voiceover for Dragoons and shit.
Yeah.
All of the voiceover and sound effects are actually better in Brood War, period. That's just the reality of the situation.
And they did a good job with some of the voice packs. Like I have Alarak's
yeah, you've got the John Delancey one that's like constantly telling you you're a fucking waste of air.
Yeah. Oh.
You fucking dumbass, build more pylons, you piece of shit.
Didn't mean to put that there.
Yeah.
it just sits there and talks shit all day, and I just get mad sometimes. I just tell him to go fuck off sometimes. Like, man, fuck off.
Funny enough, also, he's done stuff here in Halifax too. Hellconst of John Delancey, who plays originally most well known for his Star Trek role as playing Q in Star Trek. Marky Mark says, or asks, I should say, your local community college has asked you to give a guest lecture of 2 hours, Jesus, on a topic of your choice for a business course. What will you talk about?
Real estate.
I think that's a no-brainer. It's an easy one. For 2 hours? Fuck, what the hell can I... What would I want to talk about for 2 fucking hours about business without killing myself? I'm gonna go with...
That's a long presentation. 2 hours.
That's a long... What the fuck can you fill 2 hours with?
That's a long one. I mean, I could fill it, but it's a long one.
I'm gonna go with... I think I could do a solid 2 hours on PR. And how to interact with customers now. Depending on but that depends on what you're in. I'll say gaming to narrow it down because that changes depending on what market you're in. I'd say that's what I'd go with for 2 hours. A lot of people, the problem, you know me, I fucking hate business. I fucking hate that shit. I hate it. I hate it with passion. Fucking hate it. I fucking hate it because it's mostly just people trying to pretend that they're more intelligent than they are and using a bunch of words and doing a bunch of shit and stepping on other people along the way, when most of them are worthless that don't actually have any value whatsoever, and hold on to their positions through mostly just old boys clubs and nepotism, and it's a bunch of fucking bullshit. I fucking hate it. Are there lots of good people in business? Obviously. It's not 100% one direction, but I fucking hate, in quotation marks, business so fucking much. And when it comes to interacting with customers and public relations and shit like that, it's like you get to a certain point in the world of business, and they literally forget that customers are human beings at that point. They just see numbers, and that shows when you see how they interact with them in PR. Like they just like nobody, like the whole boilerplate responses and all that doesn't work anymore. People will fucking string you up in public for that shit. We've watched it in gaming. We've watched it happen tons in the last 5-6 years. People are over that shit. You can't get away with it. You actually need to understand that these are people on the other side and not just a fucking number. But because most of these companies are run by 45 to 55 to 65-year-old dudes, that are running it like they would have if this was 1988 and they were all still blowing coke up their nose, you get a lot of the same shit that they did in 1988. And about the only one still pulling that off properly to make any money, and honestly, I think it's mostly just because of the primary property being Call of Duty, is Bobby Kotick with Activision. Everyone else has failed and been fired multiple times over now. So there's a very short list for that. So I'd say probably that for 2 hours would be something that I could do. I think it's like the one thing in business that should probably be looked at more carefully in general. Or you could easily fill 2 hours with business ethics. Christ, that'd be a fucking cakewalk. Imagine just using Blizzard as a friggin' the Bill Cosby room. You're like, all right, we got 2 hours to cover why the Bill Cosby room was a bad fucking idea. Here we go. Or Riot. Why sexually assaulting your female coworkers isn't the number one way to have success in the workplace. Something like that might be easy to fill 2 hours with too. Here's related to what we were talking about earlier to a degree. Borkchop asks, if you had to live in the universe of any Rockstar game, which one would you pick? GTA 5, Red Dead 1, Bully. Oh, there's a call out that not everyone would have said. Red Dead 2, etc., etc. Vice City, bro. Give me Vice City. Talk about the 80s. Give me Vice City.
Yeah. I gotta go Vice City as well, bro. That would be fun.
Yeah, I think that's the one. That'd be
fun.
What in the fuck is this question? This is the fastest way. This is the fastest way to burn viewership bridges. So let's do it. That's what we're good at, Mr. Black. Ace High asks, marry, fuck, kill, Germany, Italy, Spain.
Germany, Italy, and Spain?
Yeah.
I mean, I am... Oof.
I gotta be honest, I'm marrying Spain, I'm fucking Italy, and I'm off in Germany. And not for that reason that everyone's thinking at home.
I know. Yeah, I'm probably killing off Germany. I've been there. Then again,
Spain, the country in Spain is beautiful. The food is amazing. The women are...
Oh my god, yeah, Spain. I was gonna fuck Spain, but I kind of want to be with Spain forever.
You can long-term that shit.
Yeah. I'm marrying Spain. You know what? I'm fucking Germany, man.
Okay.
And I'm killing fucking Italy.
Okay. All right.
God.
I mean, Spain and Italy are,
you know what?
Yeah.
Because Italy feels like a place I'll never go to.
Okay.
And if I do, I'd probably be doing like the European tour type shit, where you stop at all these other places. And I really believe in my heart of heart that I'm not going to connect with Paris. I am not a particularly sightseeing type guy. Unless it's something I'm really interested. Like if I went to Japan, I'd be totally into that because it's such a huge culture shift. But with Italy, I feel like, there's going to be some cultural differences, but I think it's going to be there's going to be so much tourism. It's just going to be a bunch of shit. I'm not really big on going and sipping coffees and eating baguettes and fucking eating cheese.
He's talking about Paris, but he's not meaning Paris is not in Italy. He's just talking about conceptually. He knows he's never going to go.
Conceptually.
Yes.
Correct. So, I'm not the whole European thing. It's not really my thing. I'm not a backpacker. I don't want to go through all that stuff. So, but with Germany, when I was there, and I was only there for a few days, it felt like I was part of the culture a little bit there. I could go, the area that I went to, there was new sausage places all the time. They had stuff on beer. They had lots of donair type foods that I, like. The people that I spoke to were really nice. The Berlin Wall was much smaller than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was this big gigantic fucking wall. It was
it was.
It was. Yes. So there really wasn't much to see. And to be frank, man, the German women are nice too, bro.
Oh, I'm not saying they're not. Don't get me wrong. Just
They're
preferentially Spain.
Oh, it's not even close. Spain is like I'd fuck some of the dudes there. And I'm straight as fuck.
I know.
I'd at least think about it.
When you mentioned when you came back from being there for a time and you were like, everyone's so beautiful. What the fuck is going on?
Bro, I couldn't believe it. It's like everybody looks so good.
Yeah.
Everybody's thin. Everybody looks like they.
But not like a coat hanger.
No coat hanger. But we're talking fit. We're like fit.
Yes.
Like just and it's sunny there, so like everybody's got like a little bit of a tan.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit of color, and it's like that. It's like this Spain color. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just bro, it's on another level. So you know what? I'm switching up, man. I'm keeping Germany alive because they make great fucking cars too.
Okay.
Paris, on the other hand,
we're not talking Paris. No, it was Italy. Yeah.
Italy, sorry.
I mean, Italy has some nice cars.
Yeah, they do. But they're small. And you know what? I like things big.
Okay.
And I like my German. Let's be real here. The Germans, they make good shit, bro.
Oh, of course they do.
The Germans make good shit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They make quality fucking good ass shit.
Yeah.
Paris? Nah, fuck Paris, man.
What are you hung up on Paris for? It's Italy. It's the other.
Or Italy. Fucking because somebody typed Paris into the goddamn chat. Italy, fuck Italy. All right? I'm sure it's a nice place. But you're leaving me no choice here. I have zero desire to see Italy.
Italy and Spain are very, like, I'm not saying culturally, but like in my mind, the close. So that I'm just giving it because it's it's.
Can't kill off the AMGs, man. I can't do it.
That's fair.
I got the Autobahn.
I couldn't kill off Ferrari.
Ooh, I could because I just can't afford one. So
That's
get
fair.
rid of one of those. I can get a fucking Mercedes or a BMW or something.
Ferrari's getting a little fancy.
Yeah, we ain't getting no Ferrari.
Mad Kiwi asks, sweet or spicy barbecue sauce? Yes. At the same time. Sweet and spicy. Yes.
Give me a little bit of that. Give me that.
Yes.
Give me that sweet taste with that spicy thing at the end, that little tang.
Give me that.
I'm all for that, bro.
Give me that.
Sweet and spicy.
You know who did a pretty reasonable job of it? So it wasn't a barbecue sauce per se. Was back in the... I don't think they might still have it, but Boston Pizza's Thai chicken bites. Did you ever have those?
Oh, yeah. Last time I had those, man, I had the shits. I can't eat that anymore.
Well, I haven't had them in like literally a decade or more, so I can't.
They're basically like little Thai popcorn chicken things with like
strips instead of like
exactly.
a ball.
They're like long strips.
Yeah,
but they're smothered with that Thai sauce.
Yeah, and that's pretty the good. Sweet and the spicy. And that's give me that. Dr. Samurai, for both of us, any update on Stormgate? I don't think so. I don't think there's anything new to talk about there. He said, I saw the new video trailer from 2 weeks ago. Thought the showing was much better. It was. That probably should have been the first one. Let's see here. Blainer says or asks, you wake up in the morning and realize that you've swapped bodies with your better half for the weekend. What do you do?
Swap bodies?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing the obvious, right?
Yeah, you gotta.
Obviously, I'm finger blasting myself. I'm fucking, I'm jamming whatever I can up this cooch. Let's see what it feels like, Let's just see see what it feels like.
Whatever I can get my hands on, just any random object, we'll make it work.
I mean, that's obvious. I'm flicking the bean for sure. And I'm probably doing it more than once.
Shit.
Outside of that,
I gotta be honest, everything else about being a woman is probably fucking terrible. I just gotta keep it 100.
Exactly, bro. I'm not really finding any other redeeming qualities. That like, when I say redeeming qualities, I mean like things that I'd be excited to be in a female
Everything
body
else is
for.
basically just the same, but you don't have the benefits of being a dude. So it's like,
trust me, I'm not going to suck no tip or anything like that, but I'm flinging my bean and I'm fucking finger blasting myself for sure. For sure. Every dude is, man. Every dude. If you woke up as like in the opposite tomorrow,
everyone's super interested, of course.
Dude, if a chick, the thing is, if a chick goes into a dude's body, right?
Yeah.
She's got more shit to do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? For one, you're stroking one off. That's guaranteed.
That's the first 10 minutes.
You're playing with your balls. You're fucking. Yes. You're doing all the things.
You're asking a question, does it really hurt that much if I get flicked in the balls? You're finding that out.
Oh, it does.
And then you're regretting it immediately.
You're doing that. Yeah, I mean, if you're a girl and you woke up in your better half's body, I mean, you're probably picking up shit. You're like, how fucking strong am I?
Yeah,
like, you're gonna try this out.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna jump as far as you can. You're gonna try and sprint as fast as you can. You're gonna pick up shit. You're gonna go and grab like that jar of pickles that you can never open. You're just gonna fucking open it just because you can. Right?
Superpowers.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I can think of. If I was a dude, it'd be the first thing to, I mean, I am a dude, but if I was a girl turning into a dude, but a guy becoming a girl, I mean, I'm just flicking the bean all day, bro. I am fucking around. Like, what else am I gonna fucking do? What else am I gonna do that I can't do as a man?
Oh shit, yeah.
As a female, maybe I'll take a few selfies. You know, and put the filter on, because if dudes put on filters, bro, listen, fellas,
that's a hurting situation.
If you're a guy and you're on Instagram and you're posting a selfie and you've got a filter on, that ain't it. That ain't it, bro.
Em's just going to be immediately salty if she's in my body. She's going to go, why does everything hurt? Why does absolutely everything hurt? Why am I low-key angry all the time? What's going on in this body right now?
Story of my life. I'm one walking grain of salt.
Pretty much. My doorbell just rang. One sec. You got it? Okay. It's probably my parents or something. Yeah, so anyway, I agree. Pretty much everything. It's the same, because really, what else?
What else?
And that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question. That's all we got for this week, which means it's time for us to move on and cast some StarCraft, so we're going to go do that. And so we'll leave you with it. And until next week, thank you very much for stopping by. Hit the follow button if you are miraculously here for any reason, somehow. The YouTube algorithm, against all odds, has placed this in your... basically zero. But on the off chance... hit the follow button, hit the bell icon, the whole 9 yards, hit the like button, everything else. So just in general, click a bunch of stuff on the screen. We'll see you guys next week. You can look forward to some more StarCraft, and until then, patreon.com/lagtv. Go spend your money. Peace!
Hey.